Hola y'all, it's Jessie and I am here to help you with Thanksgiving this year. You were the person asked to bring the dressing. Have no fear, I'm gonna help you out. I'll show you how easy it is to make this delicious main dish and help you gain the confidence you need in the holidays. I'll show you how to make amazing Southern cornbread dressing. First thing we're gonna do is start with our cornbread. And I'm using a cast iron skillet. I'm gonna pour a little bit of oil in here and move it around. And I have my oven preheating at 400 degrees. I'm gonna set this in there while I mix up the cornbread and let this be getting hot. Now, because I'm making a big pan of dressing for family, I'm doubling the recipe of my normal cornbread. First thing we have is 2 cups all-purpose flour. The next thing we're gonna add is yellow cornmeal, 2 cups. 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/4 cup of sugar, and I'm very careful with this ingredient because in my normal cornbread, it's a sweet cornbread, that's what we like, but I do not want a sweet dressing. However, I do need a little bit of sugar to take away the bitterness of the cornbread, if that makes sense. So just a little, because this is double the recipe. I'm gonna give all of our dry ingredients a good mix. Time to add our wet ingredients, and we're going to start with 2/3 cup of vegetable oil. Next, we're adding 2 cups of whole milk. And the last thing we need to add are 2 eggs. Now it's time to mix the cornbread really well. And I'm going to take my cast iron skillet out of the oven. It's really hot, and I'm going to pour the cornbread right into the cast iron skillet. Definitely be careful, this is super hot. Once I have the cornbread in my cast iron skillet, it's going into a 400 degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I'm just going to check it every now and then to see when it's ready. Okay, so while our cornbread is in the oven, we can start sauteing our vegetables. I'm doing onion and celery, and I'm just gonna saute this until they're soft and translucent in about 1/2 stick of butter. Let me show you. Okay, so my cornbread just came out of the oven. It was exactly 25 minutes. There it is. It's super hot right now, so I'm gonna wait for it to cool, and I'm gonna show you the other ingredients that we're gonna add to our baking dish. So we're actually gonna take a little help from the store. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can definitely add your own sage, your own poultry seasoning, your own seasonings, and I'm gonna add a little bit of my own as well. But I like to add a little bit of stovetop stuffing mix to my dressing because there's already seasonings in it and they're spot on. And then I can adjust for the flavors that I like even more. I grabbed the turkey flavored stuffing mix, but they have chicken flavored and then they just have regular. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pour this into my baking dish. And this already smells like Thanksgiving. Now to my baking dish, I'm also gonna add 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers. This is gonna give us another texture, another layer of flavor, salt, just a little sweetness to cut the bitterness of the cornbread. It makes it so good. We're gonna crush these crackers. To our crushed Ritz crackers and the stove top stuffing mix, we're going to add our sauteed vegetables. Here they are. The onion and the celery have been cooked down until they're translucent and soft. So I just poured the vegetables straight into my baking dish. Now I'm going to add my homemade cornbread. It's still really hot, but I'm just gonna handle it carefully, put it in my baking dish in large pieces, and then break it up with my fingers. Since my cornbread is super hot in my cast iron skillet, I'm just gonna take a fork and a knife. I'm going to crumble it straight in the cast iron skillet because it is so hot. Once I've got all of my homemade cornbread crumbled, I'm gonna add it straight to my baking dish. I found that a fork is way more effective than the knife at crumbling the cornbread in the cast iron skillet. Okay guys, we are in the home stretch of this amazing dressing recipe. So I crumbled up all of the cornbread and I mixed it completely together with the sauteed vegetables, with the stuffing mix, and with the sleeve of crushed Ritz crackers. And it's that combination of those 3 different textures that's gonna make this the best dressing you've ever had in your life. Now, let's add our wet ingredients and more flavor. I'm gonna start with 1 can cream of mushroom soup, and it goes right in. Second ingredient is 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and it's right in there. 1 teaspoon of salt. And lastly, I wanna add 1 can cream of celery soup, and we have that in there. Okay, so all of that is in my baking dish. Now I wanna add chicken broth. Now that I've added all of my wet ingredients, I'm gonna mix this up really well, and then we have to taste it and adjust any seasonings. We wanna do this before we add our eggs. The eggs aren't gonna make any difference in the flavor, and we have nothing in here right now that cannot be eaten raw. So let me taste. I would like a little bit more onion flavor, and we are gonna top it with chopped green onions. So I'm just gonna do half a tablespoon of onion powder. And then, because to me, dressing is not dressing if it doesn't have a great, strong sage taste, I'm gonna add some more sage. It's good like it is, but I love sage. I'm gonna add half of a tablespoon of sage. Give that a mix and give it another taste. That was just what it needed. Now it's perfect. I'm going to add 3 eggs, mix it really well. Okay, the last thing I need to do before I put it in the oven is sprinkle my chopped green onions on top. Not only does this add flavor, but it also makes it really pretty. I'm gonna bake it 325 for 1 hour. I wish you could smell it. Let's have a taste. Oh, this is like super, super, super hot. But I'm gonna taste it just for you. You have to make this. You have to. Hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday. Adios.